Um, First, if you just want to give me some background information on the lawsuit, what what caused you to file the lawsuit?
A lot of things caused me to file the lawsuit. You know, we have a real issue with organizations and individuals in our community who are selling us short. What's happening is that as I watch what's going on with Trayvon Martin and Eric Garner and Mike Brown, all of this is these are just symptoms of economic genocide.
Absolutely.
No real access to education, no real access to mentorship, and no real access to capital that is not predatory. And when you don't have that, you're relegated to modern day plantations called the inner city, where
Right.
there's no shortage of guns, alcohol, and drugs.
Absolutely.
And when you are not educated and you don't have capital, the media then dehumanizes you and demonize you. And once you're demonized, black men, then it's okay to murder you, even when it's videotaped and witnessed by the world, and you can't get an indictment. And
Absolutely.
an indictment is even a conviction. It is simply, are we going to go to trial and pursue the conviction? And it's like, what? A black man? Let's not even pretend. No indictment. And when you look at situations like AT&T and Walmart giving more money to Al Sharpton for his lavish 60th birthday instead of spending money in Ebony magazine, which is 70 years old and circulated to millions of African Americans every month.
Right.
When Ebony is taking in $30,000 a year from AT&T and not one penny from Walmart, but for some reason these corporations value Al Sharpton more than they value Ebony magazine.
Mm.
When the NAACP is taking money from Donald Sterling, who has made horrible racist remarks, and they've taken money from him, and not a lot of money, to be Man of the Year.
Right.
Not one, but twice. All I say is, NAACP, Al Sharpton, you don't speak for me.
Absolutely.
You don't speak for black people. What I say to President Obama, you bailed it. You've let us down. White people voted for you. Black people have died for you.
Mm.
You bailed out the banks, and you need to audit the banks. And what you will find out, President Obama, is the banks don't lend us.
Right.
We don't get commercial loans, and some of us barely get home loans or automotive loans. You bailed out the automotive companies. The automotive companies don't advertise with 100% black owned.
Absolutely.
They don't advertise with black owned media. You, President Obama, control an advertising budget of over $1 billion. Join the Army, join the Navy, join the Marines, drug-free America, Census Bureau. That money is not being spent. None of that money is being spent with 100% black-owned media. If so, it is de minimis. Shame on you, President Obama. You have forgotten us. You have left us behind. This is economic genocide. The worst thing to happen to black people, not slavery, Jim Crow. Laws put on the books by white politicians to make sure black people did not participate in the economic dream. And those laws called Jim Crow, that Jim Crow period, perpetuates today in white corporate America.
Now,
Obama.
okay, go ahead.
Obama controls over half, President Obama
Uh-huh.
controls over $1 trillion in pension fund money for government workers. Very little of that money is managed by African Americans. Very little of that money is invested in African American companies. Our first real black president, President Clinton, mandated that the government spend ad dollars with black-owned media, especially black newspapers. A presidential mandate that was ignored. Senator Kerry had a hearing, an investigation, 10 years later after the mandate was put in place to find out why it was ignored, and found out not only was it ignored, that it had gotten worse. Black people, get a calculator. Black people, hold corporate America and your politicians accountable.
Absolutely. Now let me ask you a question for people that are, sometimes everyone doesn't pay attention to the news. They know you're filing a lawsuit. Al Sharpton, says it's frivolous. And then they have on their site the NAACP and the National Urban League and the National Action Network announced this agreement to expand current diversity initiatives intended to increase diversity in a wide range of areas, including programming and employment.
Okay. I am not talking about programming targeted towards black people.
Right.
I am not jobs. I am talking about ownership.
Okay.
Now, Coretta Scott King was someone that I knew because I had acquired the rights to her book, My Life with Martin, because I wanted to look at Martin Luther King through her eyes.
Okay.
And she said to me, Byron, we as black people have 4 major challenges. Number 1, end slavery. Number 2, end Jim Crow. Number 3, achieve civil rights. Number 4, economic inclusion. We have not achieved number 4. This is the 4th and final chapter.
Okay.
This is about ownership. 2 weeks before they killed the great Martin Luther King Jr., he gave a speech, and every American should read that speech. It's called The Other America. In America, there are 2 Americas. One America has economic privilege, economic inclusion. The other America does not. And 2 Americas can't survive. We need one America to be a great America. This is not about black programming, which is what they want to do. They want to talk to you like you are a buffoon.
Right.
That you are an idiot, that you can't comprehend. See, they will talk to you about minorities and diversity. But the way minorities and diversity is defined as women, and primarily white women. So even on that minority bus or that diversity bus, you're on the back of it. To the buffet, there are no crumbs left for you. That's why I'm having a conversation about 100% African American owned media. See, there are African American owned newspapers that need the ad support to make the transition to digital.
Yes.
But they're being squeezed out, even though people in our community do business with these corporations to the tune in excess of $1 trillion.
Absolutely.
But these corporations are able to donate money to people like the Urban League, like Al Sharpton, like the NAACP, to get racial cover not to be called black. It is to be called racist. It is racist to even suggest that a black person, one black person, speaks for all black people. It is a horrible, horrible racist statement for Al Sharpton to sign something and the NAACP and the Urban League to take donations first, put money in their pockets first, and then sign something. That is a conflict of interest. To sign something that black people will be happy with, live by, appreciate. This is why when you look around this beautiful country of ours, black people have nothing. Black people own nothing. Black people do not participate in the great American economic dream.
Absolutely, we have that. You know, a lot of what you say right now is the reason we started Black Westchester on the urban soul media, to change the narrative. To, you know, I had Bob Law. We have a radio show too, and we had Bob Law in there. And we were talking about how they have gotten rid of so many black talk radio, because that used to speak to our community, let us know what's going on, you know, and they killed a lot of that. So we can communicate.
But that's okay. That's okay. The internet, and that's horrible they did it.
Right.
But God don't like ugly.
Right.
And now now your voices will move to the internet.
Well, that's
and they can't stop you. And now you have global distribution, and you're not just limited to cities and neighborhoods. You're global now.
Actually, you're right. We're called Black Westchester. We're based in Westchester County, and we have readers all over the world. I mean, we've been around for 6 months, and we have an internet show that comes on Sundays, People Before Politics, and you know, we have people calling in from all over the country.
Yeah. So what really needs to be understood is that the internet is the greatest invention since the printing press. Now the power is back in the hands of the people. The people have the power. So if everybody goes to NAAAOM, Nancy Apple, Oliver Mary.com and register, because we are going to let people know who you should be spending money with and who you shouldn't. Because now you have power. That's power.
That brings me to okay, go ahead.
No, you have power, and you got to put the power back in your hands.
Right. That brings me to my next question. Can you explain for the people, what is the National Association of African American Owned Media? And like, we've been around for 6 months. How do new black owned media, how do we become a part of that?
Well, we're going to structure, everybody submits who wants to be signed, who wants to be a part of it. They will be vetted. And as we move through the lawsuit, we will be able to get through this and start to administer people who are 100% black owned and legitimate. The most important thing is that we use the black media to understand, to get the word out, and to get people signed up to hold corporate America accountable. Walmart's the largest employer of African Americans. How are you not advertising company or Stevie Wonder's radio station? And why do I struggle with you, Walmart? And yet you're one of the big sponsors of Al Sharpton's birthday party. President Obama. Black people, don't worry about President Obama. He's a wonderful man. He's spectacular. He's run his last election. He's never going to run for anything else again. You have a black president. You have a black attorney general. Hold him accountable to make sure you're doing better economically. The internet should be free. The internet should be free. You should ask Obama to make the internet free, because that was an Eisenhower moment. He could have sold it off to the entrepreneurs who wanted to own the freeways and the highways and the streets, and you couldn't afford to drive up and down the street because of all the tolls. But Eisenhower protected the American people and made the highways free. The internet needs to be free, because it's the way we communicate, it's the way we discover jobs, we research, get our education. It's under Homeland Security. It's the way we get information as to whether or not our families and ourselves are safe. You have to hold your politicians accountable. President Obama has taken a lot of money from Comcast. And here's Comcast, who got caught in 2008 deploying software to slow down video over the web. That's breaking federal laws. People should be going to jail, not getting bigger and richer. AT&T is being sued by the Federal Trade Commission. His own administration is suing AT&T, a lawsuit filed in October of 2014 for throttling, which means that they made your video experience over the web something not so terrific, forcing you to pay a higher fee to AT&T to get a better video experience. Why are you going to let them buy DirecTV and get bigger? They're breaking laws. But all of those companies have donated money to our President Obama. President Obama, remember the people. Take care of the people. Take care of your family. Do the right thing.
You know what? I really didn't know much about you other than, the work I've seen you do on TV, of course. What's it? Comics, the show you have. And this surprised me, hearing all of this that you were about all of this, to be honest. A lot of people don't know, a lot of people didn't know that side of you, I guess.
No. And you know what? I take my girls, I'm driving around with my girls, and they look out the window and they say, "Daddy, I see another homeless. Daddy, I see another homeless. Daddy, I see another homeless." They're young.
Right.
4 and 6. And at a point, I actually cried. And I said, what is it about me that I turned off my empathy button to act like I don't see them?
Wow.
When my 6-year-old said, we have to help them, I said, you're right. And then I thought about their journey. And I said, they were positioned to fail. They were positioned to fail. It's not their fault. No access to a real education, no access to mentorship, and no access to capital. Shame on us. Shame on America. But we're at the point where we're not competitive anymore. It's not a strong enough America. Other countries are coming on much stronger. We can't have some of us engaged. We must have all of us engaged, as Martin Luther King told us over 40 years ago. We need one America to survive.
Right.
Half the women in this country can't live at or below the poverty line. If the women fail, so will the children.
Now, what you have the lawsuit? What do you hope to accomplish in as the outcome of the lawsuit?
We've already won. We've won by filing the lawsuit and putting it all out there and opening the minds of the people who care and can educate and spread the word like you.
Okay.
We've already won. We've already won. And we will continue to win. And we will continue to file similar lawsuits against corporations who don't do business with us in a fair and equitable way. We've won. It will go to trial. It will go before a judge and a jury here in Los Angeles. But we've already won. We'll go through the process, but we've already won. America knows why Al Sharpton has a television show on MSNBC. It was a part of his payoff. It was cheaper to pay him than to really do business with you.
Wow.
That's why I said he is expensive Negro.
Wow.
Pay a few, but don't pay a lot. Pay 1 or 2, but don't pay 200 or 300.
Right.
I mean, there's a law, a presidential mandate in place to spend money with you. Join the Army, join the Navy, join the Marines, a drug-free America. Have you gotten 1 penny from the government in advertising?
No.
Okay.
No. Not at all.
President Obama, you promised us hope and change. And let me be clear, I'm a Democrat. I voted for Obama twice,
Right.
and I've given him a lot of money. I've given him enough money where some people could pay cash for a house
Right.
and not have a mortgage.
Wow.
You got to take care of the people. You got to make sure we're included. No more mergers where we don't really own something significantly.
Now, has the merger officially gone through yet?
No, they're trying to get approval. These lawsuits are problematic on that approval. Both AT&T trying to buy DirecTV for $67 billion and Comcast trying to buy Time Warner for $47 billion.
Wow. Now here's
Just to put the numbers in perspective, AT&T and DirecTV spend about $22 billion a year licensing cable networks and advertising, with less than $3 million per year going to 100% black-owned media. DirecTV, that's AT&T and DirecTV, Comcast and Time Warner spend about $25 billion a year licensing cable networks and advertising, with less than $3 million per year going to 100% black-owned media. The industry is spending about $50 billion a year licensing cable networks, with 100% black-owned cable networks getting less than $3 million. The industry spends about $175 billion advertising across all categories. 100% black-owned media is becoming virtually extinct. And why is black-owned media important? We need to, first of all, it's our opportunity to build and have generational wealth to pass on to our loved ones. It is our First Amendment to be able to speak our minds, to have our voices heard. But you can't do it unless you control media. And we need to be able to control our image, control our likeness, control how we're produced and depicted around the world. And we don't have it because you don't have the ad support and you don't have access to distribution.
Right. Now, playing devil's advocate, I guess, a lot of people they hear what you're saying. They may even understand what you're saying. But some of them are asking, is this lawsuit really going to change anything?
Yeah, it already has changed everything. It has changed everything. This is the beginning of the fourth and final chapter. Economic inclusion, the end of genocide against African Americans. The fourth and final chapter, the real reason they killed Martin Luther King. See, by the time they killed Martin Luther King, he had already achieved civil rights. They killed him because he was speaking out against the Vietnam War, and he was speaking out for economic inclusion for all Americans. He was on the balcony of the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis to march with the sanitation workers for higher pay. Economic inclusion. That's why they killed him. He was working on the fourth and final chapter. Black America, don't let Martin Luther King Jr. die in vain.
Okay. Well, there's still some people that don't believe that, this is really going to change. Like, you make some noise and you may slow them down, but will it actually stop these corporations from merging? Will it actually give us the control of the media that we want? Or will it be one of those where someone just gets paid off again and it looks good? Like we've been promised a lot of things throughout the history, and a lot of times we think, we're at that point, and we've been bamboozled a lot.
Are you still waiting for your 40 acres and a mule?
No, I'm not, but yeah.
And that's okay if you are. I would say go to NAOM and sign up and register, and we can tell you who's doing business. And no person speaks for Black America, but at least I always say know the numbers and hold everyone accountable. And that's all I'm doing here. I know the numbers, and I'm holding everyone accountable. And 1 million people, 2 million people, 10 million people That's a very powerful constituency. If you stop going to Walmart, they will feel it. If you stop going to McDonald's, they will feel it. If you disconnect AT&T or Comcast or Time Warner or DirecTV, they will feel it. You have a lot of power. The problem is you're not showing them your power with your cash. They will take it from you all day. They want you to be on the plantation and stay a consumer, and they never want you to be an owner.
Absolutely. We've Bob Law is working on something here, and I posted it on the site. Black Dollars Matter, sort of economic sanctions, like, going after one company at a time, and everybody stops spending.
That's it. You got it. That's the most powerful statement. See, the civil rights movement, it was great that we were marching, it was great that we were singing, but what they really responded to were the laws and the economic loss.
Right.
See, when we didn't get on that bus for a year, they missed that money.
Right.
When we didn't get on those buses for a year, they missed that money. They didn't care about our marches, and they didn't care about our Negro spirituals.
Right.
As a matter of fact, they were probably entertained by our Negro spirituals. Why not? Great entertainers.
Right.
But they did miss that money.
Right.
And the laws came.
And in more recent, look like one of the examples Bob Law used, when Chick-fil-A, I don't know what statement they made that offended gay people. Gay people said, let us show you how important our money is, and they stopped supporting Chick-fil-A, and oh man, they were hurting. They put a hurting on them.
And that constituency isn't as financially strong as the African American constituency, and great for the gay community.
Right.
Smart.
Right.
I applaud them. They're great. So now the African American community can learn. See, that's terrific. They're naturally saying, I know the numbers, I know my value, I know my worth, and I'm holding you accountable. The problem with the black community, we don't do that.
I think
and when the black community did that the way we did in the 60s, you will see things change rapidly.
I think there's a lack of unity too, like to get everyone not to go to McDonald's. Like McDonald's is banking that we can't get everybody to not go to McDonald's, that we're addicted to the fries. Like there's no way that you can get all black people not to, you can make all the noise you want, but black people are still going to go to McDonald's tomorrow.
And that's okay. I appreciate that. There are just some people who are never going to leave the plantation. They're comfortable. Even when at the end of slavery, there were slaves who just didn't want to leave the plantation.
Right.
They didn't want to leave their masters. That's just the mentality. I get it. That's why I filed a $20 billion lawsuit. It has nothing to do with anybody else. But I did it also to open up the door for everyone.
Okay.
I'm not looking for everybody to agree. I'm not looking for everybody to get it or like it or support it. But I did it, and it's going to open the doors for a lot of people, and everyone's going to benefit from it. Because if you spend too much time trying to get people to unite,
right,
you're not going anywhere.
Right.
You know, our girl Rosa Parks didn't have a meeting. Rosa Parks just said, I'm not giving up the seat.
Right.
A movement starts with one. The movement has started. Economic inclusion.
I definitely applaud you for what you are doing. For those who are going to read this and hear this, what can the average person do to support what you're doing?
Go to NAAAOM.com. 3 A's, Nancy, Apple, OliverMary.com, and register. So we can inform you as to who's doing business with you and who's not. We can inform you about the numbers. Because we're only about numerics. We're only about economics. Because that's when our children will be educated. That's when we will have businesses in our community. That's when we will have wealth. And all of a sudden you can't dehumanize us and demonize us anymore and ultimately murder us and get away with it.
Right. Wow.
All of these innocent, unarmed black men and children that you're watching being murdered with no indictment, that's all a result of economic genocide.
Absolutely.
AT&T has no excuse for not spending money with me and my 30-plus television shows and 7 24-hour HD networks. Ebony Magazine, which has been around for 70 years. Millions of black folks reading it every month. Stevie Wonder's radio station. Really? You're going to give Al Sharpton more money than you give the three of us collectively?
So wait. So two things I want. So AT&T is not spending money with Ebony, or this?
$30,000 a year.
Okay.
That's what they spent last year. $30,000.
Okay.
And I don't even have a deal with them. I don't have an advertising deal with them. And I listen to radios. I listen to Stevie Wonder's radio station all day, and all quite often, and I don't hear a radio spot. From all the people who gave, I don't hear Walmart, I don't hear McDonald's, I don't hear Coca-Cola, I don't hear AT&T on Stevie Wonder's radio station.
Okay.
Like nobody, like Stevie Wonder is not real. Like he's not legitimate. This man owns a radio station. He's Stevie Wonder. He helped make Martin Luther King's birthday a national holiday.
Right.
I asked Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson this question. Especially, how do you take money from AT&T and AT&T doesn't even celebrate or observe Martin Luther King's birthday as a national holiday, and they make their employees work that day, and the black employees at AT&T take it as a personal or sick day?
Wow.
Get your mind around that. Black American, get off your knees, stand on your feet, and demand the respect you are long overdue.
Now let me ask you a question. I know I wrote the piece and I stand by everything I said, and our civil rights organization selling us out. Do you think at some point, they all started with good intentions, and then, I guess money spoke, and
Sure. I mean, obviously the NAACP did. I believe they've lost their way by evidence of giving Donald Sterling Man of the Year twice, let alone once.
Right.
But, black people, you can speak for yourselves. Just know the numbers. And tell that corporation. That's what we're going to do at NAOM. We're going to let you know who to tell. You're not feeling these numbers. These numbers don't work. It's been an overwhelming response from a lot of successful African American entrepreneurs who are not participating in the pension fund money. We have trillions of dollars in pension fund money that's not managed by black people and ultimately invested in businesses like yours. You have to be positioned to succeed. You need enough capital and runway to grow it.
Absolutely.
You can't have a bad week or a month. You're done. And that's not right. Your competitors can have a bad year or two. They're properly capitalized.
You definitely preaching to the choir right here, so that's why I'm quiet right now.
Yeah, I mean, Sony, Amy Pascal, and Scott Rudin send these racist emails about the first president of the United States that happens to be African American, and they think they can have their sins forgiven because they kissed the ring of Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton doesn't speak to us, doesn't speak for us. Sony, are you advertising with us? Sony, are we really in business with you? The answer is no. You just didn't expect to get caught. We now know how you think about us. You just didn't expect to get caught. You've shown us what little value we have to you. You just didn't expect to get caught.
Absolutely. I was just reading the thing they had about the diversity thing. I was gonna try to come up with another question, but I have no more questions about that one though. Um,
Yeah, diversity, once again, stay away from that word. Diversity and minorities, that's white women. You're on the back of that bus. You know, in their own admission, Comcast said, we have been negotiating in good faith with Entertainment Studios, my company, for years. For many years. Think about that statement. We have been negotiating in good faith with Entertainment Studios for many years. White corporate America wants to talk about it while Black America starves.
Right. I guess because I didn't see. You said there will be a court date. Is that upcoming? Has it been scheduled yet, or are you still waiting
Yeah, I
for
mean,
that?
they'll get the books. The lawyers are doing what they're doing. But once again, the filing of this lawsuit is historic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a law that's been on the books almost 150 years. It was put in place in it's Civil Rights Act 1866, put on the books shortly after the end of the Civil War, Section 1981. It's been there since 1866 to protect the newly freed slaves, non-racial discrimination in contracting, governmental and non-governmental workplace.
Anything I
It's a
haven't.
historic lawsuit. It's never been used like this before. And it's been upheld many times throughout the years. Very smart, expensive attorneys. And I'm spending millions and millions on this lawsuit. Millions. Found this law and placed it on their desk to start the change.
Is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to speak about as far as the lawsuit or anything else about anything that you're doing personally, in your career, anything?
I would just say to the American people, especially Black America, you deserve that. You deserve better. You deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve more. Hold your president accountable. Ask him, where are the bank loans? Ask them, where are the investments in our community? Ask them to make the internet free. Make the internet free. Drive around the hood, you got people standing around in lines to get 10 minutes on the internet. That's not going to work. Ask them to make sure that the government ad dollars support our Black voices. Because if all of our voices aren't heard and widely distributed, then we don't have a real democracy. And if we don't have a real, true democracy, why did we let all those brave women and men die in the battlefield?
Again, I thank you for your time. I definitely have a respect for what you're doing. It's definitely something that has never been done before, and I am definitely paying attention to see what happens, how this plays out.
Get with the National Association of Black Journalists.
Yes, I am signed up for them.
Yeah, they denounced the hiring of Al Sharpton when he was hired. They denounced him. Get with them. Everybody, sign up at NAOM so we can keep track of the numbers and share that information. That's what they want us to do. No pun intended. They want us to stay in the dark.
Right.
They want us to stay in the dark and use Al Sharpton as our spokesperson. I watched Al Sharpton on YouTube this morning. On YouTube, go there.
Mm-hmm.
On an HBO special, try and sell cocaine or do a cocaine deal with an undercover FBI agent.
Whoa.
Go to YouTube.
You know I will. You know.
Go to YouTube, and you don't even have to say I said it. You can just say, as the writer, I went to YouTube and I saw Al Sharpton do. It's right there on YouTube. An HBO special.
Mm.
Fox unveiled it. Tried to sell cocaine to an undercover FBI agent. That's what I'm watching on YouTube.
Mm.
So, you don't have to, because I've already got a lawsuit against me. Now, you as a journalist, you can say you went there and you found that on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And you found that disturbing and alarming. Oh, I don't know how you would find it. But you have a voice, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's on YouTube.
Oh.
See, if I say it, then it looks like more sour grapes from me. So I can't really say it.
Well, if you go through our site, you can see we don't shy away from the hot topics that need to be talked about.
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's trying to do a major cocaine deal to put drugs in our community.
Lastly, I wanted to say we have our internet radio shows, People Before Politics. It comes on Sunday, 6 to 8 New York time. I'm going to email your assistant the number. If you feel free, you call in, and my partner, he'll definitely have a lot of questions to ask you and engage in the conversation. He's the one that actually sent me.
What's the distribution of your radio show?
A local internet station, inthemix.com.
I love it. Get it out there, man. Go to YouTube and see if you see in the early 80s. It's an HBO special. Tried to do a deal with the FBI and undercover agent.
I definitely will.
And then, dude, if it comes from me, it's sour grapes. If it comes from you, it's a different game. Because now the black press is asking, what the F is this?
This is recent?
No, it happened in the early 80s. It was
Okay.
put on YouTube last year because Fox brought it up.
Okay.
But they got the footage.
Okay.
So, I mean, dude, when the black newspapers start talking about that, that's a big story. They're going to be all over you.
I'm on YouTube now. I stay on my computer, so I'm about to punch it up.
See it?
Nah, I'm just typing in his name right now. You said HBO?
No, just say Al Sharpton caught in drug deal.
And drug deal. Was Al Sharpton a drug dealer and FBI informant? Voice walking.
You see it? And that's YouTube?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube, yeah.
Is the video coming up?
I'm trying to see Al Sharpton sold drugs, was FBI informant. There's several videos. I'm trying to figure out which one I need to watch.
Knock yourself out.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, 10 months ago, 10 months ago. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna that's what I'll be doing later on. Al Sharpton caught
that's the
FBI
guy that
drug
wants
sting.
to do a drug deal. Where do you think those drugs were going? They were going to our children. That was going to get converted into crack.
Wow. All right. Well, you didn't put a bug in my ear. We've already signed up. My partner's already signed up. I'm going to sign up too for the site so we can get I can stay informed.
Yep.
Get
everybody to NAOM, and I think it's at YouTube. You can find it under Al Sharpton at YouTube. Al Sharpton drug sting, because he was dealing with an FBI undercover cop, and he didn't know it. You got it.
Okay.
There you go, Black America. That's what you need to know.
Okay, I got it. I'm on it. Thank you again for your time. Like I said, I'm gonna send your assistant our number. If you can call in on Sunday, that'd be great. Definitely. This is the kind of stuff what you're talking about is the kind of stuff we address every day.
Right. Like I said, I can't be the one to unveil the Al Sharpton thing because of the lawsuit, but you can as a journalist because you found it.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.